Là. So, hello everyone. I'm Thibault Meunier, and today we're going to talk about DEX, which is a scalable and trustless exchange. So first of all, you might ask, what do we solve? So we are going to talk about front running and how our exchange prevents it, and the front run of the operator, the trader, the miner. Then we're going to present how we achieve trade without being reliant on gas fees. We are also going to talk about fast trading, how DEX is going to help you to trade faster. How DEX operator has a low collateral requirement, even if it relies on blockchain security. And finally, how users control their funds and remain in custody of them. So first of all, there are different types of exchanges, and probably we're just going to go through what an exchange is and how we went to what is here today. First type of exchange, like you are encountering every day, is just a marketplace. So here's a photo I took in Paris, people buying things, and that's an exchange. Your exchange's value against some asset, here's like fruits, but you can exchange multiple things. So in this exchange, you don't have any public order book. You not have any fast trading. You're only exchanging small amount of money against small amount of assets. Maybe you can buy big things, but it's not that huge compared to current marketplace, like online stock exchange. So you don't have any high volume either. But these are control their funds. If you take a look at the guy, which is here, he's counting money. He's counting his money that came from his pocket, which is something like we call fiat. And probably you're all familiar with. And then, because it was quite limited, like to do things this way, and we wanted to do it remotely with more like volume, etc., came centralized exchange. So centralized exchange, they obviously exist in crypto, but in the beginning, it wasn't in crypto. It was just regular exchange, like New York Stock Exchange. You had exchanges around the world, and those exchanges were exchanges value. So it was scalable. I mean, it's deployed worldwide, and it's like quite well known now. You do also have a high throughput. So to stick to crypto example, Binance is having exchanging $20 billion. So it's already quite big, even if it's not as big as regular exchanges that you can encounter. You have a public order book, but the downside of it is users are not in custody of their funds. You do deposit fund in the exchange, and that's why the exchange is able to provide you with like fast trading. So that was great, but when blockchain came, you imagine that you really control your money. So that's where decentralized exchanges came into place. So users remain in custody of their funds. And you had like exchanges which had already achieved like medium, like decent volume, such as DEX, which is trading 1 million assets daily. However, the bad side of decentralized exchanges for now is you have variable fees. You're relying on the blockchain the exchange is based on to provide you the order book or for the settlement. And those fees, so in Ethereum, they are paid in Ether, and this value is volatile. It is not something the exchange operator can rely on. And obviously, you are bound to the blockchain speed. When you want to settle an order, you have to wait for a transaction to be mined. And that's something which is not good when you are willing to provide fast trading. And so what we're going to talk about today is trustless exchange. So it's a design of a decentralized exchange where users remain in control of their funds, where we have been able to achieve front-running resilience order book. So the operator can just take an order and match it however he wants. You have a fast settlement layer, which we're going to explain, and you have a high throughput. And that's the properties we wanted to achieve in this exchange. Obviously, it's like one-of-a-kind DEX. So the different kind of DEX, you have the first kind of DEX, which was Oasis DEX, where you have everything that happened on-chain. You have the settlement layer, And you also have the order book layer. So everything was on-chain, it was slow, and obviously it was expensive because you have gas fee on every operation. And that's not something which was easy for adoption. Then some DEXs, such as IDEX, wanted to have something faster, something more convenient. So they did hybrid DEX. So they took the order book and put it offline with a trusted third party and stick to the on-chain settlement layer. So it was faster. It reduced the gas fee, but was still relying on the underlying blockchain. And then in our design, we moved everything off-chain while relying on blockchain for security, for securing the assets. So first of all, how did we achieve a front-running resistance order book layer? What is front-running? Front-running can be performed by multiple people, and it does consist of, if I have an order and someone else give me an order which is matching a good order I have. Maybe as an operator, I do want to take this order first because it's a super good deal I want to have. Or maybe someone is paying me in order to have access to the best order available. That's front running, and that's something you want to prevent if you're a trader because it's your order and you want to make money, not the operator. So it can be performed by miners when they receive a transaction. They include the transaction first, or it can be performed by traders. When they see a transaction, which is good, they just post the same transaction with a higher gas price. Or it can also be performed by the operator. When they see some trades, they just decide not to match it or match some order first because they are paid by another party. What we want to achieve is some kind of first in, first matched, if the price is reasonable. So when you're the oldest order with a price, you want your order to be matched first because you're providing a good order and you were there first. So that's what we want to achieve. And finally, if the operator is misbehaving, you want anyone to know, and you want the action of the operator to be just halted. So the operator lose all its users, and he has low incentive to misbehave. And there we introduce the Moonwalk Order. So the Moonwalk Order is a way for a trader to post an order without the exchange being able to see the content of the order, but the operator is able to see that this order is valid without knowing its content. So it consists of a zero-knowledge part, an encrypted order, and a time lock puzzle. So all these parts come into play in this diagram, which probably looks a bit scary, and I'm going to walk you through it. So first of all, you have Alice. So Alice is a trader. Alice wants to post an order, and so what she does is, first of all, decide what she wants to trade, and she encrypts this order. This order is associated with a time lock puzzle that the operator can decide to resolve if he wants to decrypt the order. Once the order is encrypted, Alice sends this order to the operator, and the operator will commit to it without decrypting it. So when he commits to it, he includes the order in a Merkle tree and commit to the position where the order will be matched. Then, when the order has been included in this Merkle tree, the operator gets back to Alice saying, hey, your order has been included. Here's the proof. I've included the order here. Alice, seeing this proof, sends the key to decrypt the order back to the operator, and the operator can then include this order in the order book publicly. Once every round, the operator is just publishing the state of the order book and how the order have been matched, so anyone is able to check that their order have been included properly and the sequence has been respected. Obviously, all of this is about building trust. When Alice submits an order, the operator is able to decrypt it in a certain amount of seconds. So let's say the operator is able to decrypt the order in 30 seconds. So if Alice sends the order and the operator gets back to her after these 30 seconds, the operator may have been able to decrypt the order and was trying an attempt to front-run Alice. So basically, Alice has low confidence that the operator was not cheating. So in order to do that, Alice just sent multiple orders, which are kind of fake orders with small value, but which are still valid, and that the operator may try to front run first. If the operator tries to front run those fake orders, Alice knows the operator can't be trusted, and so she won't send real orders to her, to the operator. Of course, it can happen in the opposite way. The operator might try to cheat on Alice. The Alice might try to cheat on the operator. So the operator commits to an order, and then Alice don't want to reveal the key for this order. But because there's a time lock puzzle, the operator can just solve the puzzle, which is provided by Alice, and then not accept anymore any trade from Alice's side. And that's action against misbehavior. So there's a lot of things that could go wrong because parties might not be honest all the time and do want to take profit of what's happening on the exchange. So as Alice, as a trader, you can challenge the parent chain in case anything goes bad. So multiple things could go bad. And what we're talking about in the order book, it's the sequence. If the sequence is not respected, I will see it on chain, and I will challenge the order book to prove me I'm wrong, that my sequence, my order, hasn't been included into a specific sequence. Of course, you also have the time for the operator to answer, and that's what we've discussed just before. The operator is halted in case he provides no or bad response to any challenge that is submitted on chain. And of course, you can just check multiple things, such as like the front running, if it happened. You want to be able to challenge your swap. If the swap hasn't been done in a proper way, you want to check that it has been delivered. You want to check the state of your balance, and that's something we're going to talk right after. And you also want to have some kind of immediate check of validity of what the operator has submitted. And so the second part in this exchange is the settlement layer. That's where the money is, and that's probably where the most interesting part of this protocol is. So we do work with something which is called commit chain. So you have the blockchain, which is what we are all used to. Here it is Ethereum, so it's like a series of blocks that are mined using a consensus. And then you have the operator with its set of users. The operator commits periodically the state of the off-chain ecosystem on the chain. And so this state of the off-chain ecosystem basically summarizes all the transfers that have been performed by its users. It commits once, it commits twice, and every time at regular intervals. So it's something that the user knows when the operator will publish the data on chain, and so he can come at regular intervals just live, check the blockchain, check if its state hasn't been modified, and that's done. That's what we call a round, and it's just a regular set of intervals. The user inspects it. They can inspect with what they know. They can ask the operator to provide them more data, and in case something goes bad, they will issue a challenge. Now, the great thing is, I never mentioned that the user needs to have some on-chain funds, some Ether, because they don't need to have it in the first place. Everything can happen off-chain. The registration is done with a centralized operator off-chain. So you contact the web server, you say, I want to join. If the operator is willing to accept you within the exchange, he will say, okay, yes, just sign this message, proving me that you're willing to join my network. You send the message, so you have a proof of registration. And finally, the operator also signs a message, so you do know that you're registered. It's instant, and it's fairly CO2 friendly, because you don't have this huge mining work involved. The mining work is only for the parent blockchain, and that's where the security is held. Here we are like at Ethereum Community Conference, and maybe you noticed I mentioned a centralized operator. And that's true. We do have a centralized operator. But this operator is not in custody of user funds. The user funds are stored in the smart contract, and locked away from the operator. The operator is just here to act as a mean of payments and exchange between users, but is never in custody of the funds. So the operator cannot steal coin, he cannot double spend, and he cannot mint new coin. If he tries to do such a thing, its operation will be halted, and users will move to an operator that can be trusted. And now it's time to showcase what we've built on top of it. Just user interface, which is providing you an exchange. It's our alpha version, and we're trying to improve it. So the demonstration, if I manage to do it, okay, got it. Actually, I can't click, which is sad. How do you click on the? Nope. Yeah, I just want to open the video. Good, yeah. Well, so just before we get into the video, just want to explain you a bit what is here. So it's mostly inspired by regular exchanges. So you do have balance component, where you do have the amount you have on-chain, so on Ethereum, and the amount you have with the operator. You do have a buy and sell, where traders can just pass their order. Then you have a price chart, which is not available yet, and we're working on it. You have your transactions. If you can see it. Yes, you have your transactions, which is where your transaction are stored and the history of what you've done. You have the order book, which is where all the orders posted by all traders is held. This order book has a small button to show you if it's up to date or not. And then finally, you have the trade history, so what trades have been performed since the beginning on the exchange. So now, let's go to the demo. So first of all, I want to check my wallet. So my wallet is secured. It means the operator hasn't tried to misbehave yet. So I have my address, Ethereum address. The hub is safe. Good. So now I do want to post an order. So I can post an order randomly, but because I just do want to showcase you how it does work, I will take an order which already exists. It's a 1-for-1 LQED token for ESA, so it's a very good price, and I definitely want to do it. So I want to buy a lot, but I don't have enough funds, so I do post a reasonable order of 0.095. I post the order. So as you've noticed, a new transaction has been added, which is the order I've done. What happens here is I do create a new wallet to make this trade. So I generate a set of private key. I do generate a set of private keys. I do sign the update on my balance, meaning I want to execute a trade, and I pass this trade to the operator. This order has been added to the order book, and then the operator will just match the order and remove the order from the order book. And as you've seen, both orders that were matching have been removed, and then you have the order that have been matched, that had been added to the trade history. At this point, you also see that my order was bigger than the sell order I was taking. So the buy order is partially filled, and so if someone tries to sell again, he will just continue to fill the buy order, and his order would be matched directly. Just exactly what we see here. You do have a new sell order which have been issued, and so this order appears in the order book. And once the operator has gone and processed the match, the buy order is just filled a bit more, and you have a new trade that has appeared in the history. And so now, if I manage to go back to my presentation, which I don't know where it is. Oh, here it is. So that's what about all for me. We're working at Liquidity Network. We do have a booth here. And I invite you really to take a look at our academic paper, which formalizes all the properties I've presented here. And also just come at our booth, have a chat. We're human, we're here. It's an opportunity for you to talk to us. And if you're willing to operate a DEX, contact us. We are more than open to do it. Thank you. Is there any questions?
Thank you for the talk. It was super interesting. You said when the order poster does not provide the encryption key, the operator can just try to solve it via the time lock and then exclude any orders from that person going forward. I'm just wondering if how would this work if I just create new identities over and over and post random orders that I don't reveal the key for? Could I slow down this exchange to basically the time of the time lock?
Sure. No, definitely you can do it. But there are multiple things the operator can do to mitigate this. First thing is, the operator is a centralized entity, so it accepts whoever he wants. And he might have some KYC process or authentication process that prevents you from creating new identity all the time. Another thing that can be done is, because it's like a time lock puzzle, it's fairly easy to just get all the orders that users haven't provided the key for, and then you can parallelize it like once to process all the orders. And so you don't have to halt the operation, the normal operation of the operator, because one user just prevents you, like, didn't reveal the key. So there are multiple approaches to this, but I mean, it's still a centralized operator, so you do whatever you want for registration. Any other question?
All right. Thank you.